hundreds of Americans getting off the Diamond Princess.
Well, we turn now to what has been a nightmare at sea.
Growing concerns for the hundreds of passengers finally getting off the Diamond Princess cruise ship.
My name's Tyler Torres.
I'm Rachel Torres.
We spent 27 days quarantined and I was away from work for 50 days.
The Torrances tied the knot in September 2019 and delayed their honeymoon so Rachel could finish occupational therapy school in the fall. Their plan was for her to graduate, go on their dream honeymoon, then come back, and she would start her dream job on February 17th.
And so we left for our dream honeymoon on January 17th, and we flew out of Minneapolis to go to Tokyo and spent a day and a half in Tokyo. We got on the Diamond Princess on January 20th.
The couple had read a few headlines about a virus outbreak in China, but like most people, had no idea how big of a problem the coronavirus would become. They started blogging about their experience after the quarantine started.
It was very mild at the time. There hadn't been a ton of spread yet. So even while we were on the cruise, when we were getting off at the port destination, we weren't even wearing masks, even in Hong Kong, because it was not as big of a threat.
The Diamond Princess was quarantined outside of Japan after a previous guest of the ship tested positive for the virus, 6 days after leaving the ship.
24 hours after they tested us via throat swab, we found out that we were going to be quarantined on the boat for 14 days due to 10 positive cases of novel coronavirus.
They didn't tell us who was positive either.
Right.
They just kind of took you off like the Hunger Games.
Right.
During the quarantine, the number of confirmed cases exploded from 10 to over 700, including multiple deaths. The couple were isolated in the room and forced to wait for the spreading to slow.
We had a balcony. We were very blessed to have that so we could get some fresh air. But we were able to count the ambulances coming in and out. So that's usually how we found out about the case count before they announced it via the intercom.
On day 12, they found out that they could go back to the States. In total, about 300 passengers were evacuated to the U.S., including 14 infected people, and they were all flown together in cargo planes back to Texas. This led to U.S. officials requiring yet another quarantine.
We didn't know if we were going to Lackland or to Travis Air Force Base until we landed. We landed in San Antonio, and we're from Texas, so we were very excited about that. And then we were quarantined at Lackland in San Antonio for 14 days.
Back on U.S. soil, the couple soon started thinking about their everyday life and finances. They had saved up a buffer to cover expenses while on vacation, but they did not plan to be gone for nearly 2 months.
It was fine, but then they extended the quarantine another 2 weeks. And we were kind of looking, rent's going to be due again for the second time now while on vacation. We're not going to get paid. We still have a car note, all these other notes. We saved up a little bit before the trip, and we were prepared for, unexpected costs, but not 2 months of unexpected costs. And so it was a little bit stressful on our end because we were looking at the numbers, and while we would have been okay, it would have been cutting it a little bit close.
The couple had purchased travel insurance for their trip and hoped it would help cover some of the expenses.
I don't think the travel insurance covered quarantines because we contacted them after the fact, and they said that that's not really something that they cover. But then, of course, Princess came out and they gave us a full reimbursement anyway. So,
even with Princess Cruises promising to reimburse the price of their trip, the couple faced another problem. Tyler, who works as a nurse, had used all of his paid time off at work and was questioning if he'd even get a paycheck. At first, the hospital he worked at told him there wasn't much he could do.
About 3 days later, they came forth and said they didn't tell me why, how, when, what. They just said, hey, we're going to pay you on your next paycheck for everything that you missed up to March 2nd.
Rachel also had her own employment troubles. She was supposed to start her dream job as an occupational therapist on February 17th, but she was still under quarantine. She called to negotiate her start date the first time while still on a cruise ship.
I called them with really terrible cell service and told them, hey, that boat that's on the news, I'm on it. And so obviously I can't come into work. And so they were great in agreeing to continuously delay, even with the second quarantine. And then now they're letting me come back, which is good.
The couple estimate that they burned through nearly a quarter of their emergency fund and were about one more round of bills away from putting everything on credit cards. But things were still looking up. They both never contracted the virus and both had careers waiting for them after the quarantine. After being gone for nearly 2 months, tons of red tape, and multiple quarantines, at midnight March 3rd, the couple was released and just happy to be heading home.
I'll also say when we got home, we were expecting to be home for 3 weeks, but instead we were gone for 2 months. And with that comes a few nice surprises when you get home. So our garbage disposal stopped working. We just got the motor replaced, but luckily that was free through the apartment. Her car had a flat, and we don't know where the wheel lock is, so we had to go get those cut off and get a new tire. In my car, whenever I went downstairs to go try and get a haircut, my battery was completely dead, so I had to get jumped by AAA. And so it was just like, oh great, we're in quarantine again, this time at our apartment. It's like, we're done with this.
Invest in you. Ready, set, grow. CNBC and Acorns.